So, Michael, have you been watching the chatter around Genuine Parts Company lately?
You mean GPC? I've definitely seen them popping up in my news feeds, but honestly, it feels like a lot of noise. Is there an actual reason people are talking about them right now?
There's a massive reason. They're essentially undergoing a corporate identity crisis, but in a very deliberate way. The board has announced they're planning to split their business into two separate, publicly traded companies.
Wait, so they're actually breaking up the company?
Exactly. They want to separate their automotive and industrial operations into two independent entities by the first quarter of 2027. It's a huge structural pivot that could completely change how investors value them.
That sounds complicated. What does this company even do, besides parts of it being about cars?
Think about every time you or a mechanic needs a new brake pad, a battery, or an engine filter. They operate one of the largest distribution networks in the world. We're talking about more than 10,800 locations across North America, Europe, and Australasia. You probably know their Napa brand.
Okay, so they're huge. But is this just a massive warehouse business?
It's much deeper than that. They handle everything from heavy-duty truck parts to industrial automation components. And the scale is staggering. Their revenue grew from about $18.87 billion in 2021 to over $24 billion in fiscal year 2025. That's a compound annual growth rate of 6.5% over 5 years.
$24 billion is massive. But if they're this big, why do they need to split? Doesn't that just create more headache?
That's the million-dollar question. The argument for the split is that each business can focus on its own specific market. One side focuses on the aging vehicle fleet and the transition to electric vehicles, while the other handles manufacturing and industrial supply chains. But the risk is all about the execution challenge of such a massive disentanglement.
I noticed something weird in their recent filings, though. Their net income looked, well, pretty low compared to how much money they're bringing in. Is the company struggling?
That's a really sharp observation, Michael. If you look at their most recent full year, the net margin was only about 0.3%. That looks scary on paper, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Their operating cash flow was actually around $891 million, which is way higher than that reported net income.
Wait, how can you bring in nearly $900 million in cash, but only report a tiny profit? Is that some kind of accounting trick?
Not exactly. It's mostly because of non-cash expenses like depreciation and amortization. Those are costs that reduce reported profit on the books, but don't actually involve money leaving the bank account. In fact, their cash conversion ratio is about 13.51 times. That means their actual cash generation is incredibly robust, even if the bottom line looks compressed by one-time hits like pension settlements or supplier bankruptcies.
Okay, so the cash is there. But I also saw a number that made me wince. A price-to-earnings ratio of over 276? That sounds insane for a company that's basically selling car parts.
It's an eye-popping number, and it's one of the biggest points of tension right now. That massive multiple is happening because recent discrete charges compressed their earnings denominator. So the real question is whether reported earnings recover enough to make that multiple normalize.
And what about the debt? I saw something about $1 billion due soon.
You're right to be cautious. They have about $1.3 billion in debt maturing in 2026. It's manageable because their interest coverage is about 8.7 times, meaning operating profit covers the interest bill, but it definitely adds pressure during this transition period.
So, we've got a massive company, a huge split coming up, incredible cash flow, but also some pretty scary valuation numbers and upcoming debt. It feels like a total toss-up.
That's exactly why you can't look at the surface level. There are so many moving parts here, from how they handle tariffs to how they integrate all those recent acquisitions. Is this separation going to sharpen the business, or are we watching a giant struggle to simplify itself?
I think I need much more than just the highlights. There's way too much hanging in the balance.
Then you need to see the full breakdown. We've gone deep into the numbers, the debt structure, and the exact mechanics of this split in our full analysis. You won't want to miss it. But that's just the surface. The full 50-minute deep dive on Genuine Parts Company common stock, the business, the management, the financials, who owns it, the risks, and the valuation is waiting for you on stockanalytics.ai. For €20 a month, you get 20 full-length deep dive requests, plus our entire S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100 video library, and you can request your own. That's stockanalytics.ai. And a quick note, this is an AI-generated analysis for educational purposes only, and nothing here is financial advice.